what is the broad business model of a company?
Ducon Infratechnologies is a diversified technology EPC company.
Do we have presence not only in India but even in export markets?
Well, some of the main business we do is for the Indian market.
I think in the next, say, 3 to 5 years, what is the kind of opportunity size you expect?
The opportunities are great. As you know, India's GDP is growing tremendously.
Hello, welcome friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio HighFlyers today. Friends, as all of you are aware, these episodes help us understand emerging and existing companies in a much better way for all our viewers. We get to know these companies better because we talk to the promoters and the top managements of such companies, and in this process we get a lot of valuable information from them as regards their business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans. And friends, today we are going to talk about an interesting company which is already listed on the capital markets. The company's name is Ducon Infratechnologies Ltd, and I have the privilege of having the managing director, Mr. Arun Govil.
Hello.
Yeah, Arunji, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for your valuable time. I'm quite sure that in this small, interaction with us today, we'll be able to understand your company's operations in a much better way.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. So Arunji, first basic question to you would be that if you could explain to us, what is the broad business model of a company? What do we do? What are the products we make? What is the kind of positioning we have developed for Ducon Infratech in the domestic market? And sir, how did this business journey start? Is it a first generation enterprise started by you, or was it started by your father? I mean, if you could tell us something about your business journey, and please start.
Yes, thank you very much. I'll be glad to share all these details with you. Ducon Infratechnologies is a diversified technology EPC company, and with offerings in various sectors of infrastructures and technologies. One of the main areas that we operated is in air pollution control, environmental control, and we specialize in flue gas desulfurization technologies, which are pollution control for power plants. And we have various technologies in that sector. We also do bulk material handling systems, which are materials such like alumina, fly ash, and these are conveyed from mining places all the way up to the smelters and silos, railroad cars. So we have the technologies for that as well. We also operate in infrastructure, electrification projects, information technologies, and recently we have expanded ourselves, being that we are a clean coal technology company, into carbon capture areas and as well as green hydrogen, because India is moving in those areas also, and we see these are related areas. A lot of our existing customers are also interested in these sectors, so we have grown in there. Okay, so that's the basic, I would say, the business model that we operate in. Okay, and I will tell you a little bit about our journey, how this company started. It is a first generation entity. It was not started with my father or anybody else, but I am a chemical engineer with an MBA. I've studied in US, and after working several years, I started my own company in United States. And after several years, I purchased Ducon in USA. Ducon is a very illustrious company. It was established since 1938. And as you know, in US, there are always, and even in other places, there are mergers and acquisitions. So it became available. And I would say in 1996, we bought this company in United States. And Ducon has a lot of technologies, and it had completed, as of now, over 30,000 projects globally. So this is how we started. But then in 2009, we established Ducon in India as an Indian arm and a separate entity uh, to address the Indian market, because India was growing rapidly and there was a tremendous growth. And the type of business we do is not something that we can do trading, or we cannot sell these things. These are large equipment which are installed on site. So we had to have our presence there. And that's how we started Ducon in India and Ducon Infra. And the company has grown since that time to today as a leader in this field, in various fields that we operate in right now.
think Arunji, nicely articulated by you. Now tell me one thing. Basically, is Ducon Infratech the Indian company which you started in 2009? Do we have presence not only in India but even in export markets? I mean, is it like having a export market potential also? I mean, if you could throw some light on this.
Well, some of the main business we do is for the Indian market. Okay, that was the main purpose of this company. We have a subsidiary we set up for because of our connection with the U.S. company. We set up a subsidiary in U.S. also, which deals with some of the customers, common customers, and people who have needs of equipment. So the Indian company can take advantage of that. We are there. As far as export is concerned, right now we are not doing any export related markets, but we are getting into some of the areas where we had tied up with a German company, Ducon Infra, and we are going to be manufacturing some of the components for hydrogen mobility and green hydrogen. And for those items, there is potential for export market, and we hopefully look into that. But right now, most of our business is for the Indian domestic market.
Okay, understood. Arunji, now tell me one thing, that in terms of the customer profile for the Indian markets, what are the kind of industry segments and what are the kind of, profile of customers? If you could share some marquee names for us, so that, all our investors can know your company profile in a much better way, especially what you do in the Indian market.
Yes. So in the Indian market, we are involved in the power sector. We are involved in alumina, and in the power we do fly ash and cement, oil and gas, and process industries. And some of the names are like NTPC, Adani Power, BHEL, IOCL, Nalco, Vedanta, Tata Power, uh, Hindalco, Reliance Industries, all the big companies that are operating in these sectors and require technologies for bulk material handling, environmental control, and infrastructure improvement in their plants.
Okay, okay, understood. Arunji, now one question which is also very important is, I want to understand that is our product related to capital investment? Like most of the companies you mentioned from the power, from the oil and gas sector, whenever there's a large capex, executed by these companies, is it at that point of time that we come in the picture? Like, is our, is our product more largely dependent on how projects are put up in India, how infrastructure expands in India? Is this thinking right?
Yes, you are correct. It is dependent on that, because average size of orders can vary from 20, 30 crores to 200 crores. And companies plan for these projects, whether they are doing an expansion in their existing facility, or they are trying to comply with the regulations or the power. Because in India, power is growing. There's a big demand for power, as you know. Even nowadays, from, let's say, AI demands power, new AI, everybody is getting into AI. That means new power requirements. And whatever type of power they use, there would be a need for some type of that equipment, whether handling the raw materials or complying with the environmental norms. So a lot of times it takes a certain amount of time for these projects to develop. But we have been established in India for a long time. So companies know of us. We are very well known. We have very specific customers. So we receive a call right away when companies are thinking about expansions and these type of projects. We work with them and we provide them budget estimates. And then over the period of time, these projects develop. And we eventually get these projects. As you know, these are highly technological projects. There are barriers to entry from technological points and financial viewpoint. So it's not like anyone can join these kind of projects. companies look for track record, historical performance, and successful track record for companies who have done these type of projects.
No, no, I think understood. Very nicely articulated by you, Arunji. Now, Arunji, one question which is very important is, if you could just tell us, in India is now considered to be one of the fastest growing economies. Infrastructure is one of the most important, areas where government is focusing. Tell me one thing: in the next, say, 3 to 5 years, what is the kind of opportunity size you expect the infra market, specifically the areas where Ducon operates? How big is this opportunity expected to be in the next, say, 3 to 5 years? And within this market, within the kind of technical capabilities we enjoy, you said our technical capabilities are very strong. How are you strategizing to ensure that you capture a significant market share here? So if you could please share your thoughts.
Well, the opportunities are great. As you know, India's GDP is growing tremendously. India is one of the, and these are emerging areas. Many companies are getting into it at this time, and time will tell who are successful. And being that we already have a established relationship with some of the customers who are also getting into that, we feel we have an advantage as compared to someone new coming in. And we have developed capability in being in India for so many years that we have the infrastructure and the resources to do turnkey projects, which many of the companies or foreign companies which are entering the market don't have that. We also have our own technology in India. Okay? So that gives us an advantage compared to companies that are licensing foreign technologies and all that and have to pay royalties to them. So they are at a disadvantage. So all these things, I think, give us a lot of advantages in the coming years. And we are very bullish on the Indian market in the next decade, I would say, because of the position that we are in and the resources that we have developed since 2009.
Okay. Well, I think very nicely mentioned. Arunji, as on date, what could be the kind of order book? Because this is obviously an order book driven business. You get orders and you execute them. So currently, whatever you can share for our viewers, what is the stated order book as of now? If you could please tell us.
We don't talk about our order book. We have never in the past, being a public company, discussed this, what is our order. Certain companies do talk about it. So at this point, I don't want to get into specific numbers per se, based on our past policies and all that. But as you can see, over the years, we have consistently delivered the revenue. We have always grown our revenue consistently. So the market conditions are very favorable. And our order backlog is similar to what we have had, and it's even higher than, I would say, we have had it in the past. Okay. And as people can see, based on some of our financials that we have, our profitability has improved. Our operational efficiency have improved in the past few years. Okay. We have momentum in growth. Our year-over-year revenue has increased, and EBITDA and net profit have also increased over the past several years. Okay. So,
Perfect.
yeah.
Arunji, now let's talk about the normal execution time which you take. Like I was just wanting to know, apart from the financial numbers which you mentioned that they have been very solid for Ducon, in qualitative terms, 2, 3 things. Like you mentioned, that you got the technology, you got the right positioning in the Indian market. But typically, when you want to win more business from new customers or existing customers, what is the most important thing the customers expect from you? Because these are large projects, they can't obviously handle their work with some vendor whom they can't trust. But in terms of execution, in terms of service, in terms of delivery, how are we better than others in the industry? Obviously, there is some competition in every industry. Even we must be having. But then how are we differentiating ourselves from the others in the same market? If you could please tell us 2, 3 qualitative points, which can help us understand you better.
Well, thank you. That's a very good question because, as I said earlier, Ducon has a very good reputation in the market, and we take a long-term approach. We are very selective in the projects that we take on, and we have a tremendous track record. Companies, we build in a long-term relationship with the customer. We want to make sure customers are happy. So we have so much, like some of the businesses we do with the names that I mentioned. Over the years, when there is a new project, we get a call right away that they want us to work with us and give us an estimate. So being that we have finished the previous project successfully, regardless of whatever obstacles they were there, even regardless of maybe sometimes customer is in a difficult position and their projects drags on from their side, but we are always working and thinking of the customers, and we work with them, so they have a very good feeling towards us. That's one. Second point, number one is that our technology is very superior. We have one of the best technology, because this company was started by the US arm, a US company, and US company actually gave all the technology to the Indian company, where it started 2009, and we had signed a technology transfer agreement of 7 years. So the Indian company absorbed all the American technologies, and it has continued to do more further work and develop and make sure that technology stays relevant. So those are some of the points that help us and make sure that we get the ongoing business and customers. Our hit ratio is very, very high, and the projects we work on over the years, we get those projects. So we are selective in what we do, but we are also highly successful in the projects we bid. We don't bid on too many projects, and since we have customer base, we work with those customer base.
Okay, understood. Arunji, now I understand that the company is planning to make some rights issue of 50 crores. This is an official announcement. If you could tell us, sir, what is the main purpose of this fundraising, and what's the purpose, if you could tell us?
Yeah, I also wanted to give you a little, based on that, from the investor's point of view, little bit of a snapshot, like the operating profit, excluding other income, is 21 crores in the thing, which is up 31% year over year. Okay. The net profit, 7.6 crores, which climbed 86% year over year in 24. Okay. Earnings per share was 29 pesos, I guess, per share, which was 81% year over year increase. Return on equity was 6.2% compared to 3% on the previous year. So you can see all the matrix has been growing tremendously. The revenue, for example, in 23 was 396 crores, and in fiscal 24 was 419 crores. Okay, so that's 6% growth. So from investors' point of view, the company is on the growing path. Okay, and even though I think some of the areas in the other areas, being that COVID and all that, we maintained our revenue growth during those periods. Okay, and we have successfully continued to do that, and will do that. So the growth requires capital. Okay, because we are in areas where we need the capital to maintain adequate working capital. Okay, so the rights issue that we are planning right now is mostly to add operating stability by having enough capital for working capital and just for general corporate purposes. That's what we are planning to do from this rights issue. Yes.
Understood. Sir, I just wanted to understand, you mentioned about the financial numbers for you, for the benefit of viewers. For FY25, can you share some numbers? Because, I was wanting to know, are we, is this, is it possible to share with us the latest March 25 numbers, what you have, reported?
Yes, of course. For March 25, our total revenue was 452 crores. Okay, that is about 8% higher than the last year. Okay, and I would also let you know that the company's P ratio is around 13. Okay, and which is notably lower than some of the companies in our sector, because their P ratios are 27. So this may be good for value investors. Our return on equity is 2.7%. This is just significantly higher than our return on equity, which was, let's say, 5 years ago, which was 5%. So this shows a consistently improvement use of capital that we have done in our over the years. Okay, so we also have low leverage. Our debt to equity stands at 0.86. Okay, which is a manageable debt level compared to some of the other companies who are operating in this sector.
No, fine. Just wanted to understand, Arunji, if you could tell us what is the profit after tax number for FY25 for March 25, if you could tell us.
Yeah, for March 25, the profit was EBITDA was about 9 crores, okay, and net profit was 3.6 crores.
Okay,
Yep.
okay, understood. Now, tell me one thing, Arunji, what is the normal working capital cycle in a business? You said you're raising money for working capital via the rights issue, but typically, in our business, what's the working capital cycle timeline like? If you could please tell us.
Well, we work on large projects, and their duration could be 2 years and 3 years. And then we are also giving guarantees. So our working capital cycle can go up to, runs around 200 days or something, but it has been coming down. Recently, it is, it's probably 175 days or something like that. Yep.
I mean, is this working capital cycle time a normal in our industry? Because typically a lot of money gets blocked here. So are you feeling that this is the right kind of time frame, or is there any scope to reduce working capital going forward?
Well, it's the kind of industry we are in. It's a right cycle. We are always looking for ways to reduce it, but we are entering because of the projects that we are involved in, large infrastructure. We are planning to expand more into other areas of, let's say, green energy, manufacturing, and also carbon capture areas. So there, we are hoping in the coming years, our working cycle time will go down.
Okay, understood. Arunji, now you mentioned about hydrogen, which is the buzzword now currently in India. Typically, what is the kind of capital expenditure do you envisage to build, new kind of capacity, new products? What's the kind of outline for the next couple of years? How much capex is the company planning to actually enter into new products?
Yeah, so in hydrogen is a big word, and it all depends on what exactly are you doing. Okay, are you setting up a manufacturing facility to make green hydrogen, electrolyzers, or dispensing and all that? So those type of projects require large capital expenditure. We are not going in those sectors. What we are doing is we are getting into the components such as valves and regulators and certain other key components which are essential for hydrogen, because hydrogen is a difficult entity to handle at high pressures. It's very corrosive, and the components which are used, let's say in natural gas, cannot be used. Okay, so we are talking about manufacturing those items which require substantially less capital for the manufacturing. And all the companies that are going to be using hydrogen or setting up plants, they will all need these components. Okay, so we are in a little different area, which we feel the size of our company, we can move rapidly and get into this area with a smaller investment, which is within our reach and which we can execute.
Okay, understood. So, Arunji, now last question for today, which is very important. Typically, in our business, what is the most important risk you monitor every day when you actually run the company? Like, COVID apart, normal, what is the business risk in our business? Is it execution? Is it like, safety? Or is it, some other factor which plays a very important role in the success of our company? And how have you managed the risk factor in the business till now?
Okay, yeah, that's a important question as well. As you can see that we have consistently grown from 2009 onwards for so many years, and safety is a big concern. We do turnkey projects. Okay, managing financials, capital is also a big concern that we also monitor carefully. Okay, so as far as business is concerned, we have established technologies and we have consistently grown our revenue. So in spite of market conditions, we are able to generate. So I think the markets that we are in, there is enough business for us. So we don't anticipate any problems from that standpoint. There are always risks associated with international markets, international government regulations that may be implemented, which can impact, and they are difficult to figure out. But I think because we are so diversified, we are not dependent on one single product or one single customer. I feel that our risks are minimal, but we are well aware and mindful of all the potential regulations and risks that there might be.
No, fine. I think very nicely articulated by you, and I think all our investors would also benefit, from your interaction with us. So once again, thank you very much, Arunji, and best wishes to you, your entire management team, and hope to talk to you in future also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.